Hello, hello. Here we go again. Come in, come in. What's the day? Tuesday? Tuesday night. Might even be Wednesday morning for you Brits. I do apologise to the British guys because there's a lot of you grindcore thrashers, the new wave of British heavy metalers, and you're all missing our little rants together because you're getting your 40 winks, bit of a kip. Sleep tight, my little British angels. Baj Mahaj, Jay West, hey boys, how's it going? The regulars popping in. A bit of a chin wag. Avi, hey shit. So, the gang is here. Let me open up my back up chat. I still haven't sorted out another chat bot, so it's going to be me flailing away. I think my multi-stream chatbot in Streamlabs, which is what I use. I think if you say 9/11 three times, it says nah. we not. We're sending this one straight to the CIA. So have a chat amongst yourselves. Get yourselves comfortable. As comfortable as you can be in your own skin. What's that famous saying that my wife loves? No matter where I am, I could be sipping coffee in a beautiful boutique in Paris, and I'll still be seething in my own foul air. Something to those effects. Do-do-do. Have you noticed in movies, every time somebody messes with a computer, a laptop, there's like computer noises in the background? Not just typing. I'm in the mainframe. That is up there with my main pet peeves. The other one is in every horror movie where there's a ghost involved. It's always an adult chasing a child around a corner, a ghost child or a dream, and they're chasing a child around corners 15 times. This isn't funny anymore. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? It's like me in my chat. Hello? Can you hear me? It's crashed again. All right, let's go. Ryan Swain. Owen, if a rock band has a sign up, what? Owen, if a rock band has a sign up, is it free to take? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Good start. Flying straight out of the gate. Owen, if a rock band has a sign up, is it free to take? Are you like a British chav where you just turn up and take their van? Paj Maharsh, what's your thoughts on intelligent dance music? I think EDM is more metal right now than heavy metal. It's heavier. There's a lot of bands that I see. In fact, I've got a folder on them, on some concerts and some gigs and some snippets of like headbang EDM, and it's fucking it's brutal. There's some brutal EDM out there, and it makes our gigs just look like fucking dinosaurs. I'm telling you. Anthony Gates, hope you're doing well, bro. I'm doing very well, thank you. Have a nice day. Just got back from the gym. I cricked my neck yesterday, so I can hardly move my head, but still, I don't use that as an excuse to not go to the gym. I still go. I still go if I'm sick. If I have COVID, I make sure I go and give it to everybody. I do not. That's a joke, YouTube. That's a joke. I am being bashishash. Anthony Gates, you're laughing at me. You fucked up right first question. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Ryan Swain. Owen, did you hear did I hear about Dave McBride releasing classified documents? Here we go. That involved us and Australian war crimes in Afghanistan. And should I use the footage for a music video? Dude, with me with that type of thing, I'm going to go real quick. There's such massive, obvious criminal activity when it comes to the government in general. It's so out in the open. You don't even need leaked documents and everything. You know, it's just out in the open. They don't care. It's just I'm disappointed at the American public not doing anything about it. You know, the French are doing something about it now and then. You know, but I'm disappointed at the American people, to be honest, because they are just fucking putting up with it. We deserve it. I say we. I'm British in America, but I pay taxes and shit. So America deserves the pile of shit they have in charge right now. They deserve this fucking. I mean, how could you be such a low information voter and vote for Joe fucking crime bill, war on drugs, war on terror, all this fake shit that we've been paying for? How fucking dare you vote for that bloodthirsty fucking soulless demon? So yeah, good luck. Enjoy. I don't even care about British or American or Canadians when it comes to the policies. I do care about the poor bastards in Afghanistan. I do care about these, the people that we're blowing up. That is what's messed up. So the fact that our eggs cost a bit more, I don't care. We deserve it. It's a good start. You're getting me fucking heated already. J-Bus, do I think ghost guitars could be modern day guitar heroes if they weren't in masks and replaced constantly? I think actually he plays most of the guitar on the albums. So it's like him. They're ghouls. They tend to play live. I think maybe they do drop in on some albums, but I'm pretty sure that it's what's his name, the main frontman, his actual name I can't remember, but I think he plays most of the guitar. So he's one of those DIY guys. I don't think he plays the drums, but Prince Vince, modern metal will be dead, and Burneth just proved it. No comment. Speaking of nerds, Anthony Gates, true. Yep. Ben Hoger can confirm Dance of the Dead Slay. Capricorn, rock. Oops, shit. Scorpio. Rock and metal's commercial appeal over the last decade is partly due to lack of big, epic ballads. Agree or disagree? Hey, it's kind of like the ballads, kind of, um, are why thrash died. Because all the albums had to, remember all the thrash albums in the 90s, they had to have a ballad. You know what I mean? It was weird. So that started getting, so that took thrash down a thrash by numbers road. So even though the bands didn't sound that much like each other, it kind of, created tropes, you know? But I like a good ballad. What's my favorite thrash ballad? Death Angel, I think. Sitting in a window. Room with a View. Fucking slaps. Name this 80s horror movie. In the chat. If you said Reanimator, you're right. Yeah, the ballads in black ballads helped the vanilla sausage aspect, where they got a bit more girls into metal with more than words, you know, stuff like that. So I think it just adds a little bit of texture to everything. I don't think ballads hurt metal. Avi, you know what's a joke? It's built-in 7 free falling without having been touched. The thing is, when it comes, we always bring up 9. It's like an inside joke now on the channel where we talk about 9/11. I'm more of a math type person, so statistically, via fire, skyscrapers have never fallen within their own imprint in the history of any fires, right? And just so happens that 3 fall within its own footprint within a couple of hours of each other. Statistically, that's like fucking impossible. I'm not saying it happened. I'm just saying statistically, it couldn't happen. Paj Makash, I always felt like 90s rave scene was the last true punk movement. There was a lot of punks in that. A lot of crust type people were, yeah, about a massive, massive aspect of them were, you know, living in a van down by the river in squats and stuff like that. And I loved it. I loved because I was in the thick of it. You couldn't. Britain was pretty much the epicenter of acid, and it was great. The rave scene, and it was a true underground too, where the cops would be on you, and you'd have. It was before texts or anything like that, and you'd have to have word of mouth of where the gig's going to be in X forest in the middle of fucking on some beach somewhere. You know, it was great, man. It was great. Even finding out where it was going to be was fun. Anthony Gates, Trump chilling in Florida tonight. Trump. I gotta give Trump some. He's a funny motherfucker. Trump is hilarious. We still voting on me, talking about Biden earlier, of how he's a war criminal. Avi, I wouldn't want to be in the US if people were pushed so hard they start doing something. That's true. Yeah, if it does kick off, it's really going to kick off. I just hope that they pointed in the right direction. Like when I saw Black Lives Matter go in for CNN and they started smashing windows in CNN, I was like, yes, my pretties. So as long as the rage goes in the right direction, you know. J Busk, what do I think about Trump indictments? I think it's essentially election interference. I think that's what it is. Because when you think about it, Clinton wasn't even president, and she deleted documents on her private server. So let alone keeping them was illegal. She deleted them, public records. So it's like, come on, what are we talking about? So yeah, it's just more, you know, interference. Capricorn, no matter most recent order, most recent album was recorded by Frederick of Opeth. Really interesting. Yeah, Opeth fell off a bit, didn't they? When it come to writing bangers, they went a little bit. I think they got into the old prog rock, the early shit. So when you get obsessed with certain eras and you try and recreate the lightning from those old bottles, it's hard to do. So when he does what he's best at, which is melodic, uh, technical death metal, it's pretty fucking good. Tobias Forge, yeah, that's his name. William Boyd, Joe Biden, 2024. 4 more years. Ryan Swain, war crime footage would make an actual metal track the old school way. A lot of old. Can you remember when YouTube first came on the scene? And practically every metal band would have regurgitated old war footage as their videos with a couple of really bad, like, uh, you know, fucking low resolution things that they fat singer singing with computer generated shit on there. And it was really janky. It's like, war's bad, guys. Fucking blowing your mind right now, right? War is bad. Black Paliwa Julka. What do I think about Inflames? I think Inflames was part of the uh, melodic death metal, early, was it metal, core death of metal. I think that was the start of the big production 5150 with a fucking boost in front of it, metal by numbers. I think I remember, I never blame the originators, but it was the copycats that copycatted them and ruined metal. So they were a lot like the Heartwork album, where it was the obsession from fucking nerds with guitars to ruin metal from that point forward. So I think it weakened everything. I did it personally. I fucking hated it when it first came out, especially the vocals. I fucking hated In Flames. I'll be honest. Let's just be honest, huh? But I appreciate them because they were the start of a big movement, and I can't fault that. Peepong Ding Dong. I like your name. Uh oh. Hold on. Got my phone. Mm-mm-mm. My phone's kicking off. Peepong Ding Dong. Imagine thinking voting matters. Yeah. I think what always reminds me of it is when it was Obama versus who was it that Obama went up against? Mitt Romney. You had Obama, Harvard lawyer from Ivy League College, versus fucking another guy from Harvard. You know, it's like kingmakers. Those places, if they come from one of those Ivy League colleges, they're basically kingmakers, and you got to kiss their ring, and they're going to tell the base what you want to hear, and then you don't know that Citibank installed Obama's entire fucking cabinet at the White House. Liars. Obama's worth 300 million right now. 300 million, mostly from speeches to Wall Street. Remember, he was the anti Wall Street guy. He was the anti fat cat. He said that to get in office. And then he put them in the White House as his finance directors. Avi, Trump's indictment is a joke. Yeah, it is. It's a joke that Trump is more has is a better candidate than half of the fucking idiots that are in the Republican Party. There's only a few I like. Is it Massey? Massey is all right. He's good. Ben Howard. Saigon Kick didn't need a ballad. Saigon Kick. Man, that's going back. Avi. Metal needs to become political. I think so. I think so. I think it. I think it at least needs to be less apologetic because now it's bending and scraping to apologize for shit we didn't do. It's for shit other bands did. So you can't carry bricks for a dead scene that wasn't that good anyway. You know. The Nocturnal Evil. Sodom never needed a ballad. Tom Angel Ripper still sounds vicious. Sodom were an interesting band to me. I never got into Sodom. They were always a bit sloppy, but that is kind of what they were. Pretty black metal. I think they influenced black metal a lot, considering they were supposedly thrash. You know, they were kind of pretty. They were just metal, right? They were fucking metal to the core. And they sang about whales before Gojira did. Dissident. Actually, Gojira had been around since the 90s, late 90s, but Dissident. There is a new wave of traditional heavy metal. No shit. No shit. There's a new wave of traditional fucking heavy metal. Yeah, it does sound pretty good, but it's pretty good versus what? Genius, you know? I'm fucking sick of it, dude. What's the new the death metal one that's the stupid name for it? The new something of traditional death metal, and it's like we're not even trying anymore. You know, might as well say, look, guys, we've run out of ideas. We're gonna rip off death, and that's it. Capricorn, no ballad, fewer girls, smaller audiences overall, more sausage fests. Yeah. Riffs no leads. The problem with new wave of British heavy metal is that it really lacks in cool main riffs, just a bunch of technical boredom. It's like I let's face it, the new wave of British heavy metal, a lot of it was fucking trash. You know, a lot of it was. A lot of it was kind of lame, in my opinion. But it was just when I was in my prime as a teenager, it had just passed. So Iron Maiden was a little bit too ghosts and goblins waving swords. It was a bit too, and thrash came along, it was a bit more street, and that got me more in my feels than, Venom talking about Satan and stuff. So Avi, rock bands like Green Day or Rage Against the Machine are ironically 100% pro-establishment. Yeah, at least once upon a time, Green Day, when France was saying, "Hey guys, there were no weapons of mass destruction," and why are we in the war on terror? Because there was no actual reason for us to go to war, apart from they had a lot of opium and oil, poppy fields as far as the eye could see in Afghanistan. And then, well, what do we have? Freedom fries, and America stopped buying French wine, and so France, for telling the truth, they got slammed. They lost fucking billions of exports because they dared say it was bad and it's not justified. USA was like, "Fuck you!" Da, 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 da. And at least Green Day were complaining about that. So the more money bands tend to make, the circles they move in tend to be very, California, and then you're lost. You're lost in the sauce then. But I respect them more than I don't mind if Rage Against the Machine makes all that money. All right, they were classic liberal fucking socialists. They're classic, right? So, in my opinion, all the people that are foaming at the mouth now about the left, right? They forget that the left are victims. They're victims of lobbyists who introduced the school system in the first place, right? So they're good people that are going down the proper path that they think is right, but they don't realize they're being tools for lobbyists. So they have evolved into the corporatist's dream. You know what I mean? But I don't blame them because they're not fucking intelligent enough to know any better. It's like kicking a dog because it got mean after it got brought up mean. It's like you don't kick a fucking dog, you know, you just avoid it. Unless go near my daughter where I'll literally strangle you to death. Nocturnal evil, rage for the machine. That's what it is. Don't blame them. Make your bag, boys. Fucking. I think when you think about it, where you look at earlier, I said I'm so disappointed in America for just taking it up the ass for so long and not protesting. And they're not protesting because lobbyists have always put the message out there that complaining is weak. So Americans don't want to complain because they think it's a form of weakness. You got to fucking suck it up. So it's like now lobbyists, when Americans think of protest, they think of green hair, they think of screaming into microphones, and they think of like throwing red paint over people with fur coats. They don't associate it with the most American fucking thing you can do, you know, going up against the British when nobody else had the balls. It's the most protest is the most fucking American thing you can do, and they've been brainwashed out of complaining because they think now it's weak. Because lobbyists know what's up, and I keep on saying it. Sometimes you got to take your hat off to lobbyists. Sometimes you just got to fucking marvel at how good they are at making us all point at the left for our problems or point at the right for our problems. It's the poor pointing at the poor. It's fucking genius. So it's like I say, I often feel that I make myself feel a little bit better because it's so fucking frustrating, right? But you can make yourself feel a little bit better when maybe there's a greater reason of why we have, let's just say, let's not go down that road. I want to stay on YouTube. All right. Heavy metal. It's just like sometimes it's better to have these gangsters on your side. You know, sometimes it's that in a nutshell. That doesn't explain much, but it's a violent world out there. Sometimes it's better to have the gangsters you know, because God knows some of the people that could take over. You have no fucking idea of how crazy it gets in Mexico and the stuff they're doing there. It's like fucking nuts. Randy Greer, she cleaned it. There's a difference in a violation of crime. Yeah, she cleaned it with bleach, right? She she wiped the files with a rag. Talk about Hillary Clinton deleting her server with bleach bit software. I I think the never mind. Let's move on. Opeth left death metal because the fans got annoying to Mikhail. Yeah, we can get a bit annoying. I don't believe that though. I think he just matured. At that, you know, happened to the best of us. I didn't. I'm still mentally. Uh, I love metalheads. I think they're fucking good people. Ryan Swain, not to bring up a dead meme, but who agrees that modern day rockers are NPCs? I think modern day rockers are like there's not many of them. There's not many new fans that are into new bands when it comes to rock and metal. So we're all. I think I mentioned who's the famous old DJ that used to be on VH1, um, that has radio shows. He's always complaining about the fuck's his name? Eddie Trunk. He says things like, "Oh, there's great bands out there. You know, you just have to look." I think he's like so in denial of how shit the music scene is that he will take mediocrity as a almost like you've been starving and you'll accept shitty food, so you think it's good because you're so fucking malnourished. It's like, I believe that guitarists think that metal is better than ever. I believe guitarists think that it's in the best shape that it's been and technicality is amazing. They believe it. It's basically denial. So I don't think they're lying when he says that there's better metal out there than ever. I think he believes it. So it's almost like a beaten housewife. You know, if that won't leave their husband, they'll just stick with it because they love it. And it's like, you're gonna get a slap. Do do do. Just have a look through you guys. Ben calling Randy is the CIA. Fucking feds, fucking glowing. Riffs no leads at Paj Mahaj. We're fighting now. Please explain what they should do considering we are in a capitalist system. We're not in a capitalist system. We're in a corporatist system. I wish we were in a capitalist system. Banks don't get bailed out in capitalism. In capitalism, if a bank runs out of money, they go out of business. And I and you, who are in that bank, we get insured up to 250 plus thousand, right? It's only the rich that would have lost out if the banks had gone under. Too big to fail is bullshit. It's only the rich that lose. So what happens in capitalism, right? Bank of America, all these banks, they go out of business, right? The good banks that didn't cheat with money, that didn't give sketchy loans to, people of color, that didn't fucking gamble with bailout money, the good banks, they get new customers because unless you have more than 250,000 in each bank, which you shouldn't have, because of the FTC insurance, then if you have more than that, you would lose it. But you wouldn't. You diversify towards different banks because you wouldn't be that stupid. Well, you shouldn't be if you have that type of money. So the good banks, they get all us new customers with a lot of money from it's basically us that would have got bailed out and not banks, So it's not capitalism. In capitalism, it's not, people think capitalism is like fucking really black and white libertarianism. It's not. In capitalism, monopolies are illegal. Like the old oil companies were broken up in capitalism. Because Amazon shouldn't be allowed in capitalism. So what does that tell you? It's corporatism. They don't pay taxes. They don't pay, there's a reason they can undercut people on shipping fees and things like that. It's because they don't get charged like everybody else. Just so happens Amazon got funded with seeding money from the fucking intelligence, from the CIA. You know what I mean? So did Tesla. Tesla got all sorts of government money to get set up. So you can't compete against that. So yeah, I wish it was capitalism, brother. It's not. So there's no such thing like socialism versus capitalism is not a thing. You might as well talk about fucking Scientology versus Buddhism. You can't prove either. It's like the gods fighting each other. It doesn't exist. It's only corporatism. In America, in China bails out the banks too. The UK is corporatism. There's no such thing as any other system apart from corporatism. Apart from a few places which have small sample sizes. I think Iceland maybe. because they actually put their bankers in prison. So yeah, don't come at me with the capitalists. I'd rather capitalism failed, you know? Kind of did. Well, it's basically the people that allow it. That's why I keep on saying I'm disappointed in Americans, because they allowed this to happen. They allowed the bailouts, you know? They voted in the people that would bail out. The worst of the worst. When I found out Bank of America had bought my mortgage back in the day, I changed banks. It cost me money to refinance through different banks. I refused to be with them, you know. You can vote with your dollar. Budweiser are finding out what that is like right now, because that is your vote. Sometimes you can't avoid it, like Comcast or Monopoly. You know, they say AT&T is competing, but what's the market share? You know, because you know it's a lot of the time I'm forced to get my water from my electricity from FPL. You know, that's a monopoly. You don't have a choice sometimes when it comes to these things. You can't vote with your dollar when it comes to electricity in Florida. I guess you can set up your own solar panels and everything. I can't answer all questions. So if you have a burning question, then I'll answer all super chats. But I'm just gonna have a look through. Patch my hearts. Gent is one of the worst things to happen to metal. The sooner it dies, the better. Luckily, the green shoots of Gent dying is here. I think that's jumped the shark finally. Gent. Metalcore is making, not metalcore, both metalcore and deathcore are making a comeback. So what's going to happen is when that fucking meme runs out, I bet you Gent's going to make another fucking comeback after that. So yeah, we're going to have the new wave of fucking Gent in 3 years' time. Enjoy. And then, yeah. Ryan Swain, haha, my buddy Christian is signed with Warner as a new wave of old school death. That's what I was thinking of, the new wave of old school death metal. But listen to this, new wave of old school death metal. Sometimes I just got to pat myself on the back, because I was calling this shit 10 years ago, how everything is just... And then it always happens in music, I know. You know, it's not like I'm a fucking genius that we copy old styles. But can you remember how fast shit was changing? Even though it felt like grunge was going on forever before new metal kicked it in the nuts. But we were jumping from new wave of British heavy metal to black metal to thrash metal to death metal to melodic death metal to fucking grunge to the American wave of British heavy metal to fucking new metal to screamo to fucking emo core to Gent to all this shit, right? It was jumping from one. And since it's like now we keep on like spinning our wheels through all those different genres from back in the day. Nothing new is sticking, you know? No, it seems. I thought Dream Pop was gonna kick in a little bit, you know, with I guess it did for a period, a little bit of shoegaze metal it was popping up, but nothing would stick. I don't know. Who knows? Riffs no lead, circle of libertarians. Yeah. I'm like I'm a libertarian that doesn't mind paying taxes if the taxes are spent correctly, you know. So it's like I think when you call yourself an XYZ, the it comes to you just have opinions then on every bill rather than a party. every bill should be voted on, not through party lines, but through your own personal opinion, So it's not like black and white. But they've used that now, left versus right. They've used that as a tool for fucking half a century. The right tried protesting and got sent to jail. Yeah, the right. They were freezing bank accounts. They were calling truckers Nazis. They were calling yellow vests people white power. It was fucked up. Donald Scottish Twin. What's your favorite Mountain Dew color? It is the Reanimator color. Come on now. There's only one. I don't drink Mountain Dew. I just happen to have a 6-pack of diet because I'm on keto, and I had one recently, and the timing must have been right. My fucking taste buds must have been right, and it was fucking heavenly. So what I'm doing now is I'm just drinking it to have a bit of a boost because it's like 11 p.m. here, and I've been chasing my daughter around all day, and I've been at the gym and all that. So I'm starting to flag a bit. So just give me a bit of a kick in the taint. But yeah, come on, reanimate a color. I love it. Under the lights. And it's definitely not red, and that's nothing to do with Arsenal FC. I won't have. Don't look at this. It's not red. How cool is this T-shirt? Can anyone name the movie? Show enough. See how old you bastards are. Ryan Swain, Owen, am I wrong for thinking Christian metal would be more metal than 99.9% of metal in 2023? That's an interesting question. I think I can't. It's like Cartman, Love Plus One, or whatever it was called. That Cartman's Christian rock band sums up a lot of it. A lot of it is Christian rock. Let's face it, a lot of it is a cash grab. So the biggest Christian rock bands tend to be a lot like the super churches, you know what I mean? Full of vagabonds and snake oil. But yeah, I don't know, man. Am I religious? That's an interesting question, which I won't answer. Yeah, Christian metal. I think we were talking about Striper recently, right? Oh, Striper just popped up. Well, I ain't exactly a devout Christian, but Striper is one of the tightest bands live. I said that yesterday, where Striper would fucking blow, like we'd all take the piss out of them, the way they dress and the message and all this, because it's not metal. And then they do festivals and blow everyone off stage. And everyone's like, "What the fuck?" Taki Taki Zakura 123. Do you think kids nowadays are as rebellious as kids in the 60s, or are they conforming to woke culture? There's don't take the what the media is saying as what the average uh, kids are like. I'm not the best to ask about that because Florida is full of fucking old people. I'm telling you, especially where I am. But it's a lot like the media and what is pushed in our feeds. You can't avoid it via the blue check marks, via the headlines, via this. You know, they tend to zoom in on the lunatic fringe on both sides, right? So, but kids are being targeted um, by teachers unions and stuff like that to be not intelligent, to be they're either told to be they are told kids are told they are a victim or they are an oppressor, and that's not a way to little honest kids. It's like they're teaching them anything apart from math and science because they don't want kids to be smart. They want them to be drones, and they want to vote pay taxes, and die. You know, preferably die a very long death so that Pfizer and everyone can make a fucking buck of putting screws in your ass and, you know, getting your blood sugar under control, which they happen to own half of the fast food factories as well, you know. So yeah, the kids are victims. Remember, don't hate the left, the green hair brigade, because they are actual victims, and they think they're doing the right thing. And on the right, don't overcompensate, because a lot of the right now are starting to go really into, you know, redneck land guns and really pushing their fucking raised trucks and this, that, and the other, and then it gets a bit cringe in the other direction. So yeah, watch out for that. Don't bite, man. Don't bite. Jake Turch, progressive metal drinking game part 2 coming out when, dude, there's too much. There's too much too many tropes. I mean, it would be a 2 hour long video if I did another one of those, of all the fucking the joke shit that we have to put up with. I think a black metal one would be good, but then that would go on for 2 hours. So yeah, I don't think my liver could take another progressive metal drinking game. Reza Khan, we just don't have the classic metal anymore. Yeah, there's no like it just. I mean, how different were Wasp to other bands that were coming out? You know, it's like there's no original fucking weird bands that like Wasp were fucking weird, man, but they were rocking. You know, musically they sounded different to Van Halen, to Cinderella, to everybody else. It was fucking nobody sounded like Blackie Lawless. Actually, Cinderella kind of sounded a little bit like vocally. Ben Hauger, Randy, where do I report for re-education training? It's probably a Pfizer facility somewhere. Pong Ding Dong. Thank God another person who isn't falling for the based Elon meme. Yeah, that dude's a fucking fruitcake. Yeah, Elon Musk is a fucking just another actor. He's getting money from the government just to. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, Rift No Leads. Yeah, I'm losing comments, so sorry about that, brother. Avi, the problem is not capitalism. The problem is corporatism. Yep, and democracy, where everyone but the productive can vote themselves welfare. Yeah, there's a just the welfare aspect is another you know thing that is created by the same people that fix it for a lot of money. It's just like even when it comes to prison, it's more expensive to keep one prisoner in California than it is to send them to fucking Harvard. What a scam. Ben Hauer. How do you spell your last name? Ben Hauer, is it? To be fair, Woodrow Wilson sold us out to JP Morgan a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah, I think the one that really pushed it was Bush Senior. He's the one that really pushed everything into overdrive when it came to absolute demon level threats to American people. What a fucking and look at him. Look, when he died, it was like you could see left run, so-called left. The NBC are about as left as fucking Hitler. It's crazy, and they were all like fawning over him when he died. It's like, come on, dude, he's like a fucking monster. Him and his dumbass son. Anthony Gates. Is it true that live bands use a kick drum track? It's usually it's Usually they have a metronome counting, and that they are usually stuck to a grid. And the bass drum is usually a sample. So every time they hit they do actually play the bass drum, but every time they do hit the bass drum, it's a sample that goes through the PA, and it sounds like fucking the Hulk is pushing down on the fucking pedal. And it's not the drum you're hearing. It's not the actual drum you're hearing. It's just another fucking pop sample that ruined rock and metal. Matthias, will thrash come back? No. It keeps on. There's a new wave of thrash metal kicking off right now, and the bands care more about making sure they have wool vests on and copying Sepultura videos, and it's more copycat fucking bullshit. I don't think anyone's got the stamina and imagination and will that these fucking teenagers had in the late 70s and 80s. It was fucking crazy when you think about it. I honestly think Alex Skolnick was like a little bit touched mentally to be that good at 17 years old. It's fucking insane, man. So yeah, maybe a little autistic. Jay Busk, in 20 years we'll have the new wave of old school heavy metal. Electric Boogaloo too. Yeah, it's nuts. Taj Mahal, between the 1960s to 1990s, there were new bands, new subculture, new genres popping up left and right. Now we're stuck. Yeah. Remember, they had places to play, they had places to rehearse, they had places to work on their live sound, and that's all gone. So that we're stuck with these YouTubers telling you how to mic up ABC, and everybody's just doing it and not thinking for themselves. Ben Howard. Part of nothing sticking is the fact that these kids are exposed to many genres. There is no loyalty amongst scenes. I remember when punks and metalheads would fight at shows. Yeah. Actually, I think crossover bands kind of fixed that. When the thrash and hardcore fans started getting along, we knew that anybody could fucking get along. It was that I honestly think that crossover bands healed the scene. And it helps when the hardcore guys booted the skinheads out. That was fun. So good for them. Randy Greer, some of the truckers were so indie grove. Where's birth metal? Yeah, I've seen a birth. It's brutal. Aborted metal. Uh, Nathan Person, where's the breathy circular tone intro? Hey yo, welcome to Circular Tone, and today I'm going to complain. Anthony Gates, you win The Last Dragon. Correctamundo. It's a great fucking, was it early 90s or was it late 80s? I think it was in the 90s maybe. Old classic American Kung Fu movie. Ben Hur, put the dew away and do cocaine like an adult. Oh, don't tempt me. It'll be a fucking long podcast. And another thing. Let's see if my fart will break the noise gate. I think that's a yes. Burn the seat. Call my mother. I turned the air conditioning off so that it wouldn't blow in the mic. So fuck, I think this might be my last podcast. Do we have a nappy roadie? Ryan Swain. Rock and metal bands in the 2023 are the music equivalent of gamers who refuse to move on from regular Mountain Dew and nacho cheese Doritos. Uh, streamers, gamers, they're the new rock star. You know, everybody wanted to be Ninja. Everybody wanted to be Dr. Disrespect. That's what kids like. Like when somebody said, "Do I ever think that thrash is going to come back?" I don't think that level of dedication now is. Nobody is going to be inspired like the thrash kids were, because what would they look? They were watching epic shit going on. They were watching Kiss, Iron Maiden, you know, these larger than life fucking beings on the TV. You know, they were watching Van Halen, and they were like, "Holy shit, this is like Golden God territory." So now kids, there's nobody. What are they gonna do? Sleep talking? Some guy in a fucking mask? You know, that's original. It's like, okay. Imagine Dragons, fucking Gent. Ah, Anthony Gates. Hair and glam metal needs to make a comeback. A lot of Gen Z are really starting to love the 80s look when it comes to fashion. So not, not so much the music, but some kids are doing their bedrooms up with VCRs and all sorts of shit. So the nostalgia is heavy, really heavy, but the music seems to be not really sticking much, you know. J Busk, I'm a Zoomer and still in school. Oh, don't listen to me. Most people I know are either hardcore progressive or Andrew Tate fans. From just one person in one area. Yeah. Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's like a troll, a funny fucking troll. But right now he's like, what the fuck is that going on? Well, his mistake is that he took eyeballs away from NBC, away from Fox, away from the narrative. As soon as you take eyeballs away from the BBC or anything, you are problematic. Andrew Tate. He's a good fighter. I actually remember him in the scene, in the kickboxing scene. Last Dragon t-shirt, you got it. Show enough. New York. Let's see if I can see it properly. Look at that shit. Show enough. What's the term for the black kung fu craze? It's not black exploitation. There's a specific word for it where it got in the culture. I can't remember, but it was. I love that movie, man. It's so 80s. The songs are good too. Was fucking ruled. Yes, they did. Capricorn. Reza Khan, what is your opinion on 100 plus sexual identities the left is preaching? It's the left isn't preaching it. It's lobbyists are preaching that. It's lobbyists that have lobbyists tend to use marginalized groups to sow discord. So don't bite, man. Don't bite. The more ridiculous it is, the more, oh, this is theater for the public to over. Because if you're talking about you know, sexual preferences and stuff. You're not talking about pipelines being blown up and, you know, you're not talking about really pertinent things that's going on, like money laundering from the government. Mike Barnett, your dad had a couple of adventures. Yeah, he did. Refresh chat. Do-do-do. Amy Taylor, hey, how's it going? That's via Facebook. I'm live on Facebook. Well, hello. So my chat has died. Let's go into my backup. Let's see what's going on. Do-do-do. All right. Barbara, what do I think about Ola England's music? I think Oland is the YouTube GOAT. He was one of the inspirations for me to start uploading. I think his lead playing is vastly underrated, but I can't get into his music because he is melodic death metal via a door and via the usual the things that I'm rallying against. So I'm a massive fan of him, his attitude. I just love him. I think he's fucking awesome. But obviously his music, it's not, his riffs are great, his solos are great, and his production is like nails on a chalkboard to me, but you won't mind that. Yeah, Ola shreds big time. KDH can shred big time. Yeah. KDH though is a little bit. I think he's starting to mellow out a bit, but his headmaster routine is a little bit. He wagging his fingers at naughty boys. It's you know. Yeah, technically he's right about most of the stuff he's complaining about, but like I say, I think metal needs way more assholes than it actually has. So I suppose I'm hoping in the future that KDH his channel goes nuts because everybody's misbehaving and rock is getting fucking badass again, you know. So because I want him to thrive because I like him. It's just you know. Cascade Explorer, $20. Thank you, man. Thank you. Owen, any advice on getting over being self-conscious when playing live music with others? Have an opportunity to be playing with some like-minded musicians, but seem to be having some doubts as I have never played in a band. Now, I'm going to give you some advice, right? You are going to get on that stage, and you're going to think that you forgot. I'm going to make this way worse for you. You're going to think you've forgotten how to play. You're going to wonder what the fuck is. Your nerves are going to make you think, I don't know how to play. I am a confident fucking asshole when it comes to live. I love it. I'm fucking, if there's nobody there, I still love it. I'll do it. I'll still play my ass off. But I just know from talking to so many people about it where sometimes I get blind spots if I'm asked a question about something I know the answer of and I'm in a certain frame of mind and it comes out of nowhere, I'm blank. It's like that. So you got to, there's some good advice. We were just talking about Ola. Ola gives some great advice. If you practice the shit out of it, if you practice until it's fucking second nature, that will build your confidence for when you get on the stage. So my advice, warm up before going on, really rehearse the shit out of everything you're doing until it's like second nature, until you're sick of it. All right. And that will build your confidence. And then you won't have blank spots when you get on. You're going to feel like your hands are too cold or too hot or sweating or something's going to be against you. So you've got to prepare for it. Have a fucking towel if you start hand sweating for no reason. Have another guitar that's tuned perfectly and all the strings have been bent and stretched, so you've got no excuses. If you cover all your bases before you go on, it gives you less anxiety. And also, nobody gives a shit. The people watching, they don't care. Everybody's so self-involved. Sometimes you got to like think of, at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal. Unless people have paid a lot of money to see you and this is like a tour and you're big, it doesn't matter. But if this is your first gig, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a fucking laid back affair. So then try and, since it's going to be your first gig, you got to take it. It's just such, everybody says that. You got to take it in, you got to enjoy it. Get there early, get your shit together so that you can actually appreciate it. Make sure you're not, because when you're rushing on a stage and you're getting your gear on there and you're panting and you're fucking this and that and your cables and you're stepping on your cable comes out your fucking guitar and you're like, well, just make sure you've got your path pre-done before you put all your shit on the stage. You already know where you're going to go, you know. You know where the outlet is. You're not going to be standing on there looking around saying, where do I plug my amp in? You know what I mean? You got the shit. But yeah, all as advice of learning it until you have no excuses is really good. My father was in a band called Badfinger, massive fucking British band. And every gig, the singer, Pete, and guitarist, he'd be throwing up before every gig. He was fucking terrified. He never got over it. So it's like natural for you to be nervous. It's natural. You know? I'm just lucky where I have that fucking attitude. I played once. My entire rig failed. My whole pedal board. And it was one of these bands where it was the whole band was based on being like shoegazy, and every song had a different effect, every song had a different thing. I had to play basically through a clean sound for the entire gig. Solos, heavy parts, fucking ambient shit. People that followed my band didn't even know. People that were singing the songs didn't notice that my guitar wasn't sounding. It fucking blew my mind. I thought, this is like the worst gig I've ever done. So yeah. Good luck though, man. Cascade Explorer. Thanks for the 20. That's fucking cool. Round of applause in the chat. Give him some love. We're gonna pop your live cherry. Yeah. So one more thing is like when the bitches are diving on you and trying to tear your clothes off, like just use protection, okay? Peepong Ding Dong. Speaking of live gigs, I love your name, Peepong. Coke sucks. Too many dealers cutting it with fentanyl. Yeah, can't even LARP as an 80s glam band anymore. Yeah, well, and on that to Explorer, make sure you take fentanyl test strips with you if you want to do some coke. It would be like headlines the next day. Oh, it's like local musician dies in his first gig from fentanyl overdose. Ryan Swain, Imagine Dragons Gent core would be tight, no gain to flub. Don't fucking put that out there. Ben, thank you for the $10, man. Heart straight back at you. Hey, I'm fucking selling out. Let's make that money. Who said there's no money in the underground of YouTube? And being a C-level YouTuber, fucking raking it in. Thanks, Ben. Ryan Swain, people don't know Andrew Tate was originally a Twitter troll and admitted to it on the official podcast episode that was taken down by the creator but re-uploaded. Yeah, Andrew Tate is just a... there's a lot of people that make a lot of money being rage baiters. So he's good at it though. Yeah, honestly, like obviously when you live online like I do, you come across, then you have to watch because you have to be informed, right? Because a lot of women that fucking hate Tate they fucking despise him. It's like the British people hate Trump when they've never seen a speech, they've never seen anything that he's done. The British fucking hate Trump only because the BBC tell them over and over and over that, grab him by the pussy ad nauseum. But the same thing is with Tate with women. Maybe if they sat down and watched like a few hours of him, they'd say, "Oh, this guy's just a fucking joker," And then if he is a sex trafficker, then fuck him. But I don't think he is. I think he's a pimp. I definitely think he's a pimp. Ryan's frame. For me, I have the reserve. I'm nervous waiting, but as soon as I'm up, for whatever reason, I rock it. My advice for anyone struggling live, practice. So it's muscle memory. Yeah, I said that. Good advice, Ryan. Ben Howard. Played lots of shows, never had an issue with nerves because we practiced together for a year and got tighter than a virgin's honey pot. Avi. Hello. Hey, Fuzzimp. How's it going, man? It is live. It's not Memorex. Fuzzimp. I was feeling chaotic, so I made a fuzzy industrial track. Hey, man. Industrial's a good place to be if you're going to be faking drums, Model 101 Junior. Can't even do coke. Go check out Fuzzimp's channel. To check out his industrial track. And then come back. And then hit like and donate to me. Not him. No. He's donated to me in the past. I've donated to him in the past buying his pedal. So that's fucking underground, right? We'll help each other out. Can't even do coke casually anymore. What the fuck? I miss the early 90s. Would do random LSD from random people and would take the bad with the good. Good times. Oh yeah, Florida death metal. Yeah, there's a lot of coke in the Florida death metal scene back in the day. Chuck was he was into the speed. Randy Greer. Epstein bad, Tate good. Yeah. Don't see the BBC bending over backwards to get the list of all the people that went to Epstein's Island, huh? They'll go after Tate fucking with 2-hour-long specials on him. But they won't go after the actual proven links, Buzzimp, I missed the drugs talk, dang. I live in Oregon. Effectively anything goes here. Shit, man. In the Wild West. Fucking bootleggers. Ryan Swain, I think bring the 808s to metal as an electronic drum kit. Not on the grid. They bring variety. Kind of have to keep it on the grid though with that, unless you're doing the old finger drums. Twitch, we got somebody in Twitch. Hi, Lick Dicks. Now I finally know what your name is. I was like, what's your name? You Liquid Dicks? What is that? I'm like a fucking boomer. What is that? So we got somebody in Twitch, believe it or not. If you are part of Twitch, can you follow me in Twitch? That'd be cool. Or also, if you're if you have a TikTok account, just do search Circle of Tone on TikTok and add me on that as well. Because I need 1,000 followers to live stream on TikTok. I honestly think a lot of the guitarists that are live streaming on there bought their TikTok followers because they don't have the talent to justify it. So maybe I'll do that. It's not actually against TikTok's policy to buy users. I might just buy them just to get live streaming and then they'll all disappear in a week probably, but at least I'll be live streaming and might get organic followers through that, China. Rally VW. More bands need to take inspiration from the early 80s bands rather than copy what is popular. I don't know. I think people have taken too much inspiration from the early 80s. Where they are literally becoming the new wave of British heavy metal. A lot of suggestions I get. Well, what about this band? And I check them out, and it's like, Iron Maiden, fucking Paul Diano era, just absolute rip-offs, That's what I think happened to Opeth. I think they actually went, Jethro Tull rock, heavy rock era, and they went down the tubes. So they can't even do the copycat shit properly. So if Opeth can't do copycat shit properly, what fucking hope do we have? Model 101 Junior, dude. Ride the Lightning though. Ride the Lightning is so good. Oh my god. Call of Cthulhu solo is one of my favorites, Kirk Hammett. He's almost a different person now. It's like he doesn't write solos anymore. Now he just riffs and reacts and just does which is all well and good for some people, but he doesn't have the genius of his written solos. When he writes them, like Fade to Black solos and a lot of the stuff on Master of Puppets, the solo hooks are so good. But when he's doing now off the cuff blues shit, he doesn't have that fucking gene in him. He should get back to writing. But then again, I've done a video on Metallica. If you want to search Circle Tone of Metallica, I have accused him of quietly quitting years ago. I think he's quietly quit, and now he's just going through the motions and cashing checks. Model 101 Junior, yeah, Piety fell off before I got into them from hardcore. Never suffer. At this point, there will be comparisons to all things, good or bad. Yeah, there's comparisons, but there's cut and paste. There's cut and paste. There's the comparisons are, oh, this sounds exactly like AC/DC with less talent, Nathan Persson, thoughts on how much tighter Metallica are now live compared to the last couple of years? Yeah, I think it depends on alcoholism, if he's in the bag or not, Yeah, Model 101 Junior, Kirk is his own cover band. And I don't know if he knows it. I think I know what you're referring to, where his solos all sound. He's even ripping off entire bars from his solos, from old solos, playing the same fucking licks in new albums. So he's like, yeah, fuck this. He's like, next. So I think that period of where he wasn't playing solos, I think that stung him, you know? Yeah, it's hard. I just think he overthinks or underthinks it, and then he just got fed up of even fucking being in the band. I think I might be completely off. He might be doing his absolute best, but when you look at how fucking brilliant his stuff was on the first couple of albums, and to it's like a different person. I liked what he did copying Mustaine solos. It's like fucking good. He's a he's a good bot. Nigel Persson. I agree with Hamster. Quiet quitting. Yeah. Kirk with signatures from 4 companies be like, hey man, fucking cha-ching. I gotta admit though, him going to Gibson at a point where Gibson is finally starting to get good at quality control, I'd rip those fucking pickups out and the electronics, but it will be, I'd never pay that money. I'd never pay that money, to be honest, but if they would send me some shit, I could make them some money. N8OR, all of Metallica have silently quit. They're all cashing checks. You can hear it on their last album. Yeah, I accused their last album of being written by AI. And now the Beatles are actually going to bring out a new song, helped, assisted by AI. Apparently they wrote the music, but AI is going to flesh it out basically. That would be interesting. I think that's a good way of doing it, is actually saying we're doing it. I don't think Metallica used AI, but it sounds like it's so fucking derivative that it sounds like something AI would do. Because they've said they'll never go over the old stuff, that they always move forward, and they went backwards. So what's that? That tells me something's up, right? Buzzing. Guitar harmonies was sick. Went done well. From Kirk, yeah. Riley VW, what do I think of Explorer guitars? I think they're fucking amazing, but when you have failed back surgery like I do, yeah, if you check out, I think my Ride the Lightning era Metallica video was, I had an Explorer back then. It was a nice one. I sold it to a subscriber. You got a good deal too. P-Pong Ding Dong. I feel like Kirk deep down hatred what Metallica became the Black Album onwards because his playing style has never, deviated since '91. I think you're right. Something happened, man. Something happened after the Black Album. Might have been drugs, because him after around that time, him. If you look at my Instagram account, I got a photo of Kirk and Lars around that time, and they were wearing like fucking eyeliner and looking coked out of their fucking beans, man. So I think some of it might have been, it doesn't help the brain when all you do is headbang and then do coke and then you're on to the next. It's like drugs, lifestyle can take over the passion that you used to fill with guitars and obsession and, being number one, and, they got sidetracked. Bargains imprisoning me. Fuzzimp. Brugeria had one of the best turnouts of a band like that I've seen at a venue I work for. Flyer poster guy. I didn't know you did flyers and posters. Why didn't I know that? I get into any shows there free. Them and Napalm were brutal. Yeah. Anthony Gates with $1. Thank you, man. No message. Just giving me $1 to another Mountain Dew for me. Some more reanimator fluid. I joked about it looking like the reanimator fluid. It kind of is, because it gives me the caffeine that I need to reanimate my fucking corpse. Model 101 Junior. Dude, that Lux alternator thing I heard on Sirius. Just no, man. Yeah. What the fuck's up with the lyrics as well? Oh my god. So fucking corny. Fuzzimp, the Beatles. Help, I need somebody. Yep, AI is going to bring out a new Beatles song. And I'm interested. I am interested. My dad in Abbey Road Studios hid in Ringo Starr's bass drum case, and the roadies carried it in to the studio that the Beatles were in once upon a time. If you didn't know, my dad's band, Badfinger, were the first band to be signed to Apple, the Beatles' own record label. So they often got mistaken for the Beatles, but their songs did. NATO. I made an edited version of 72 Seasons where I cut out almost 27 minutes of useless riffing. Dude! Yes! It made it almost bearable. Should I upload it? Dude! That was one of my main fucking... When I noticed it, I was like, why is this... It's so fucking filler. Filler. I think there's some good shit at the end of the album. But holy shit. The riffs are over and over, repeat, and they're not even good riffs. It's like, fucking hell. Yeah, do it. I say do it, and then you'll get a fucking strike on your channel. Model 101 Junior. According to Newstead, Lars liked the crack back in the day, so you never know. You know the Newstead thing with And Justice for All? I don't like the loud bass version of it. His playing isn't that good. It's pretty sloppy, man. If you really go listen to it, go listen to the And Justice for All with the boosted bass. I can kind of half understand why Metallica got that low in the mix. It was way too low. It was way too low. But they're playing. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. But his playing choices were not gelling with the track as much as I thought they would. That's just that. Nobody's said that. But I'm fucking hypercritical. So, and justice for Jason. Jason is one of the most metal people I've seen live. When he was in the 90s, I saw him live with Metallica a couple of times. He's metal as fuck, dude. Absolute beast on stage. And I saw his face like freeze with horror after seeing a guy jump off the stage and bang his head against the metal bar on the fucking on the barrier, and he went. It's fucking crazy. And this guy had a lump on his head like a fucking cartoon character. Pee-pong ding-dong. My problem with Metallica self-plagiarizing is that it isn't even half-hearted. If Judas Priest can release Firepower in 16, an absolute great metal release, Metallica has no excuse not to do good. Yeah? There must be just bound to management, and they have to put out XYZ, just like a fighter has a contract or whatever, It's like, there has to be, for it to be that lackluster, that boring, And the biggest kicker is it's not even their worst shit. They brought out worse stuff in the past. So they quietly quit. It must be hard keeping up what they did. It did kind of like, they did melt down after And Justice for All, They brought out the Black Album, which is supposed to be a classic. I think it's all right. I think it was hyped a little bit by the labels for you to all worship it. I might be wrong on that though, because I'm a thrashling. Fuzzamp, yeah, I do a bunch of random filler. The poster flyer thing is more for the hang. Would love to be in demand sound gay, but not yet. Ryan Swain. Owen, do you have a Ford 150 or a Chevy Silverado? I have a Silverado that I spent $3,500 on brakes. I think I got ripped off. Reza Khan, how do you know that? Do all of your Marshalls have the same tubes? Do you have any preferences when it comes to tubes? Do you have any preferred Marshall type pedals for home use to get authentic Plexi and JCM 800 tone? I do prefer new old stock tubes. I hate to fucking say it. I hate to say it. But when it comes to power tubes, from modern power tubes, I think most of them are practically all the same thing, rebadged, Is it Chinese or is it Russian? You've got two choices, So I don't hate the difference between new old stock and brand new tubes isn't night and day. I call it the 5%. It's just a little tiny bit better. I use old GE preamp tubes in all of my amps, and I tend to use just JJ power tubes. It's, if I get older power tubes, then good. But yeah. Don't. I wouldn't waste any sleep over tubes, or pedals, or gear. It's all about fucking songwriting. So don't go down the trap I did. I wasted a fucking lot of time on that bullshit. When it doesn't matter. None of it matters. It's there's an old saying that once you get your dream car, it's depressing. Because you realize that it's kind of not as amazing as you think it's going to be. Plus, the dream is better than the having. So I've had top of the line gear, top of the line, and it's not. If you told me that I had to use Black Star for the rest of my life, I'd be fine. I'd be fine with that. I like Black Star, by the way. It's they got a lot of shit on forums, and a lot of these people didn't fucking own Black Star amps. They just were snobs, you know. The same snobs that would have Strymons, and they would take the piss out of people with Line 6, not knowing that Strymon was invented by guys from Line 6. Reza Khan, do all of your marshals have the same... Oh, sorry. The Nocturnal Evil. What's funnier than Ghoul Town, who are doing something different with metal, is fronted by Lyle Steadman of Solitude Aternus. Ghoul Town. That's gone... I've probably seen it. A lot of these things where suggestions come up and say, oh yeah, it's that. Even the best new bands are formed out of old members from old school bands. Yeah. Yeah, there's a new band that's formed out of ex-Crowbar, ex-Type of Negative people. That's kicking off, and the song was a kind of underwhelming. It was, it sounded like Silvertomb, so. But yeah, you said it. Gear is great, but songs and practice matters a lot more. Yeah. I did something fun with gear recently. I made my own, because I'm so used to like top of the line high gain stuff, like a Langner modded Marshall, which is like a fucking flamethrower. It's the Exodus sound. It's the forbidden sound. You know what I mean? But I still want to stay up on distortion pedals and stuff. So I have pretty much gone through all distortion pedals when they've come through, from Sewer Riot's Riot 2 pedal. Sewer Riot pedal 2 is good. The Angry Charlie 2 is good from JHS. So I keep up on the distortions when they come out, and I put together a pedal board of distortion that I run through clean amps, and it sounds fucking good. So yeah, gear is fun if you get varied stuff, and you can get varied stuff for cheap, like the Behringer pedal Fuzz F5. What's it called? Where it has about 5 different options of fuzz. That thing is great, man. And so you get that for $20 used, and you've got all these fuzz tones, and then you can get another pedal like a Rat. A new Rat sounds, pretty close to the old ones. Rat's a fucking classic. They've redone the Governors, and they don't sound like the old Governors. The Governor was my favorite distortion pedal, and my own quad damage pedal that I put together. It sounds kind of like that British old Governor pedal, not too much distortion, a lot of tweakability I got more tweakability when it comes to the mids and treble, because I'm a big treble guy. So I put together a pedal board, and it has my fuzz wire on it. It has my quad damage. It has an old 80s Rat on it. It has another good distortion pedal that does a lot is the Crazy Cacti from Kaleen. That's not on there, but that's just another good one, for a cheap one for options. So when it comes to gear, there's a lot of cheap options out there to get all sorts of different tones, So it's like, you don't obsess on things like tubes, because you're going to get a 5% difference, is what I'm trying to say, for a lot of money. And it's also a consumable. Tubes are consumables, so that it's better for preamps tubes if you get the new old stock stuff like I do. They'll last pretty much, if you treat the amp right, they should last decades. But yeah, don't worry about tubes. The only things I don't scrimp on really are speakers and cables. I tend to demand good speakers and cables. The other stuff, when it comes to circuits and the big stuff, like you don't need a lot. Like I just sold a what the fuck is that amp called? It's a JCM 900 copy, but it has like different power tubes and everything. I can't remember what it's called, but that thing I just sold for like $250, and it sounds good, man. All tube. Fucking the tubes in it now on the used market are probably worth more than the amp. But yeah, you can get some good cheap stuff. Like I sold my 5150 Behringer combo copy recently. That thing, I preferred that to my recto when it comes to distortion. My rectoverb. My rectoverb sounds good too, which is also for sale. Yeah, don't go gear obsessed, because that's part of what killed metal in the first place. Also, you might want to tubes. You might want to grab a lot of cheap tubes. Not now. I think it might be too late. I think the price has gone up on them, but just for if you want to be long term which I am, make sure you got plenty of tubes. So you never know when these factories are going to close. Let's rush through a few comments. It's going to be yes and no answers. 9/11. No. Avi, how do you feel about bass guitar replacement with VSTs? Any good? String wear is no longer an issue with it, I hear. How do I feel about bass guitar replacement? Oh, right. It's bass guitar and metal is kind of a fucking meme. I mean, it's either, dark glass is kind of made everyone sound the same, right? So yeah, I don't feel, I just feel your band, everybody's band can get a foot up on the competition by actually having a good bass player that people can hear, that knows how to prop up a song when it needs it, and also to hit some hooks and make everything come together as a band. I don't think it's so much a gear thing. You can actually, if you're moving air with real bass, fat strings, and you've got one up on the competition, because that's part of the fucking pie that rock fans and metal fans are craving. So if you go VST, you're just going to sound like everybody in metal. Practically all bass now is having distortion added to the tracks anyway, VST. So it's like the same thing. So it's a sideways move if you completely replace the bass with a VST instrument. It's a sideways move in metal, so it's just as fucking shit as the average bass player that uses modern bass production techniques of adding that fucking disgusting distortion underneath the bass, which helps the noise, the volume wars, because it gives the track more of a range of frequencies that makes the whole thing sound bigger. But it doesn't anymore, because now everything's streaming, and all these streaming services limit all music. So whatever advantage your band got back in the day with the volume wars, which is from the fucking radio, is outdated. So you lose from every angle when it comes to bass. You fucking lose, brother. Part of the reason why metal is fucking dead. I think you know how I felt about it. You just didn't see me rant about it. Bro, I have a Black Star amp. I hated it until I learned how to play. Yeah, they are fucking unforgiving amps. The most unforgiving amp I ever played was a Splorn Quick Rod. Holy shit, that thing, it was so well built. Every fucking note and scratch and scrape and fret, and it would pick up everything and just present it. Present your failure. That's right. A lot. It depends on the Blackstar now. I've so many amps out, but I had I had a couple of Blackstars, but the main one I kept for the longest I modded was their flagship model, which was so fucking loud to get a sweet spot on it that it was obnoxious. So, and I like obnoxious, but even for me, I was like, holy fuck. Buzzimp, my 2 cents about something more spicy. I enjoy shows and listening to music not sober, but I can't do work and write good in altered states. Yeah. Yeah, well, the Beatles were all about that. Like, if some people are good at it, opens the doors to perception, brother. MK1017. Oh, and do I like the Melvins? No. I was into technical, tight, with big courses and the rest of it, and they were a bit too sloppy for me. I never got I did like them live. They were like an eye opener live, but on record, I was never a fan of proto grunge, because they weren't grunge. I guess they were just fucking garage. I was never a big fan of student garage type of music. They have been like, to be fair though, talk about Road Dogs. They have played fucking toilets. They have played massive stages. They've played fucking Ozfest. They have always been like a part of the scene, like a fucking stain. Ben Hoa, have I ever thought about making captures using amp modeling and sounding tones? Yeah, I answered that the other day. If I did, I'm like, Trump, they'd be the greatest ever. Probably because of my cables and the internal wire that I have, and pure tone jacks and everything. So those little 5% things I was talking about, my tubes, the little 5% on top of another 5%, my fucking Kemper profiles, oh, they'd be so good. But I'm never gonna do it because I wouldn't make much money from it, because people don't realize, like, I'm not. My subs are fucking passionate, but nobody knows I fucking exist. So it's like, death headache. A room means more than the gear. Room is actually very important. It is very important, especially when it comes to mixing too. Mark 1017. Oh, and you would love the Bogner Ecstasy Red pedal. I love the Bogner Uberschall pedal. This thing's fucking took off for my style. It's noisy as fuck though, but I don't care about noise. Yeah, Bogner are great. Good, solid amps. That guy's fucking nuts too. Character. Jason Pelto. Kenny is a better segue, not a main vocalist. Kenny was perfect for Type of Negative, because his voice in small doses is fucking amazing. On the whole album, it does get a bit whiny. So I half agree, which is why Kenny should get in a band with me and both of us sing. I think that would be good. But when he does get it right, his vocals on Frozen, fucking so good. When it's good, it's like, it's better than fucking, it's better than what he's done with Silver Tomb. So we talk about Kenny from Type of Negative. The Nocturnal Evil. There is also some lesser known gear out there that are top notch. Yeah. One of my best amps is the old Crate BV150H. Yeah, I got a Crate Club 20. I call it my shit brick. I love that thing. Then there's the Red Bar Mark 120. Yeah, they used to be cheap. Now they're starting to get in vogue. the MK120, which is straight on hand wire JCM 800 clones. Yep, but run on dirt cheap Sovtech tubes. Yeah, I don't think they are strictly JCM 800 tones. If they are, there has to be some sort of deviant, because they didn't sound. I've played them and they didn't sound like exactly like a JCM 800. What else? The Rhino amps. Can anyone remember the Rhino amps? They're fucking amazing. They're like modded Soldano type of Marshalls, I think. Avi Scotland Flower. You sound diametrically opposed to Glenn these days, saying every guitar wood is the same, every pickup is the same. It's a bit with pickups. A lot of metal producers, metal guitarists tend to use either active or high output pickups. So then they do tend to sound very, very similar. So if you put my pickups up against, say, an EMG, then it's different. You know, it has to be like, it's not night and day different. You know, they're still pickups, but you'll be able to hear a lot more detail in my pickups than an EMG, because an EMG is almost like having a tube screamer in front of you, in front of your amp, because there's more output. So it's like a lot of the pickups that metal producers choose, they do so because there's less noise and this, and the active aspect of it helps, and you know, so a lot of them sound the same. I think a lot of modern pickups just sound pretty sterile, but then again, not night and day. It's time to stop fucking obsessing about that type of thing, you know. Glenn is the Andrew Tate of guitar. I'll always support Glenn, because he's one of the only people that takes the piss out of everybody for using replacement drums. So he is like pro real drums, and we need more people like that. So you should embrace people like Glenn, because he is part of what we need, you know. I like Glenn. He's good people, man. Ryan Swain. Owen, don't be ashamed of what happened after the TikTok with the feminine Celtic Frost person. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, wood. Fuzzimp. I had a Sovtech tube midget 50H. That thing sharp in value. Yeah. Anyone try Seritone amps? They just came on my radar. Yeah, Seritone amps are fantastic. They are really well built, with good, relatively good parts. Yeah, you can't go fucking wrong with Seritone. If you want to hear a Seritone, listen to my, I think my Queen recreation and my White Stripes recreation. That's a Seritone DZ30, which is a copy of a copy. So it's a copy of a is it a Bad Cat? I think. What is it? I can't remember. But it's a copy of a Vox. You know, the fancy Vox boutique amplifiers you can get. And I just sold it because I'm selling my gear, because guitar's dead. Yikes. RE lower output pickups. Yes, I heartily agree. I started going that way and I love it. That always happens. I always see it. I always like to see it too. Where you see people like Rabia, he's always like with really heavy output pickups and the rest of it, and slowly but surely he starts playing those fucking Gibsons and those lower output pickups, so it gets you in the end, you know. He's got, I mean, fucking how long did it take Kirk Hammett to get there? Use EMGs for life, and then all of a sudden he got the greenie and he's like, I like low output pickups now. Fuzzimp. Oh, that was a Glenn compliment, the Cobra thing. Mostly referencing he upsets the status quo, but he draws a lot of hate. Yeah. He's I think this. I think I like it when he riles up people because we deserve it and we need it. We don't need nicey nicey everybody helping each other out. We need somebody taking a piss out of everybody, and he does. Speaking of gear and buying shit, is that this might be the best $1. I think it cost me $1.50. It's for clothes, but these things can hang all of your cables. Because what happens is, say if you hang them up, right? So you've got a coat hanger, and you got all your cables going down here. What I'm gonna do is this: wrap, say 5 cables at a time. All right, tie that cable together, and hook that one bunch on one of these. So I can basically put about 25 cables on this one thing and hang it like that. So then you can have all the cables in your closet, 25 fucking cables, tidy, hanging up with one of these. $1.50. You heard it here first. Life hack. So yeah, I think I got them on like one of these dodgy Chinese apps that's popping off. What the hell is it called? I can't remember. If anyone cares, just comment on the video and I'll answer the comment later on. I bought about 20 of them. That's how many cables I have to tame. Rally VW. What's my favorite speaker? My favorite speaker is late 60s to mid 70s greenbacks, blackbacks, and creambacks, and greybacks. Any of them, I don't care. They're all fucking amazing. And then again, don't worry about it. You know, the 5%. Don't worry about it. Just use a vintage 30. Just fucking play and riff right. Don't worry about speakers, brother. Buzzing. We need to be upset. Yeah, we do. We need a slap. Death headache. How often do you change new strings? It depends on my guitars because I tend to rotate guitars and I have very dry hands, so I don't sweat on them. My elbows don't fucking get in them very often, and I tend to get Ernie Ball cobalt strings, and they last longer than nickel strings, so I don't change them that often. If I'm going to record something that I really like, or you know, I change them. If I'm in a studio situation, I'll change them. Do do do. Glenn is the Andrew Tate of guitar. Speaking of guitars, look what I just dug out. Hold on. An old strings. Remember I did the Glary upgrade video? I remember I never used to cut my strings just to piss everyone off, and still in that state. This Glary Strat is pretty damn good, honestly. And look how thick the neck is. Can you see? Look at that shit. It is a chunky monkey. It's in tune. I don't think it's going to get past the noise gate on this though. Yeah. So I've been going through my old stuff. I'll probably be selling this, but I put a bone nut on it. I put string tees, roller tees on there to help stability. I was going to change the actual tuners on it to American Fender. You know, American Fender pick tuning pegs. You can pick them up for $30 used. You used to be able to anyway. I bought a bunch of them, so I put them on all my Strat stuff. So Look how pretty it is. It's a fucking cool guitar, man. It sounded good too. Yeah, search Circle of Tone Glary Strat, and you can see me doing the upgrades to it and everything. Fun. Yikelu. I like the New York XL, the less changing as well. Yeah, yeah. It's even though it costs a lot. If you're changing them half as much as other strings, then it's less hassle. But it's horses for courses for me when it comes to strings. Freddy Boo do I put mustard or ketchup on your vanilla sausages? I put ketchup on them on my hot dogs, but vanilla sausages often make me gag. Supersonic Nomad. One of the best chugging pickups I've ever had was an early 90s Seymour Duncan Pearly Gates with a resistance of 8.14. Early Seymour Duncan pickups were fucking amazing. There was the custom shop wound ones. Was it by MJ? Is that yeah? MJ. I collected MJ wound pickups, and they are fucking amazing. Yeah, the early stuff. I don't know what the fuck they're doing now with their wire. Like the wire on their like things like single coil pickups is so fucking thin. It's like your soldering iron's gonna fucking disintegrate it. They don't, maybe they changed that. Maybe I had bad ones, but yeah, I didn't like the tone from the current production of Seymour Duncan that I've had compared to the old ones. And again, it doesn't matter. It's 5%. Yikelu. I live in Chicago. No ketchup ever. Yeah, you're eating nails and sawdust, right? Hot dogs are fucking gross. So you have to put some sugar on it. They taste like fucking beef squeezins. MK1017. I think Eminence CV75 speakers are underrated. The V's, the Vintage 30, open sounding mids, are a wall of sound rather than compact like the V30. Great IRs by Cole Audio Cult. Yeah. Yeah, Eminence. I like the classic, the old fucking like unblowable legend from back in the day. I didn't like any of the Swamp Things and the fucking all the new school. They all sounded like fucking. I think they were too high rated for wattage because I had a one in a 1x12. I think it was a Swamp Thing, and I had it blasting through it. The thing wasn't even fucking moving. I could take it like it was nothing. I could put like 300 watts through that thing and it wouldn't budge. So sometimes you need a bit of excursion for interesting shit to come out of it. But the interesting shit won't come out of something that's not moving. It's just going to be flat, you know? Model 101 Junior, passing out now. HVAC in the summer life. Oh my God, dude. It was 100 degrees today in Florida. 100 degrees. It's getting brutal out there. Yike Lou, laugh my ass off. I was breathing some sawdust earlier, doing some DIY woodwork. Yeah, I think I'll be leaving you guys soon. Good chat, lads. Mike Barnett. Hey, Mike, how's it going, man? Your dad and I had a couple of adventures. Facebook grew. See, I forget I'm actually on Facebook too. Because I'm streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Jeremy Figures. PV 2x12 stereo course with a flight case, free collection only from Dylan Thomas Land in a park looking down at the sea. Damn. Model 101 Junior. Texas Heat is a thing. Lol. Yeah. Texas Heat, I think is. I think I ended up using it for bass guitar. RP 100 for the win. All right, chaps. Have a good one. Thanks for the donations. You guys are awesome. So, what did we learn today? I do have favorites when it comes to tubes, when it comes to speakers, this and that and the other, but don't do it. Don't go down the gear. Don't chase gear. Don't chase tones. Just chase fucking not riffs. Fuck riffs. Choruses, verses, hooks, memorable feeling, attitude. Fucking put your fucking life on the paper. Make a dent. Don't be another fucking mids. You know, fucking bot. You're never going to sound as good as the album. The bass guitar fills it out. If this, that, and the other, your tone is never going to sound as good as fucking, AC/DC. It's never going to sound as good as fucking Van Halen. It's never going to sound as good as fucking Periphery. You're not going to do it. So you might as well fucking write better. Have a good one, chaps. Love you all. Circle Tone.